Hey, what's going on, everybody? This your girl Tiffany coming through here live in effect. Just give me a moment. Hey, what's going on, everybody? This your girl Tiffany here live in effect. So tonight we're gonna talk about it, and I rarely get on this subject matter. We're gonna talk about entrepreneurship. We're gonna talk about what took place with the owner of Slutty Vegan, which is Picky Cole, right? That's her name, Picky Cole. Okay, I hope you can hear me now. Can you hear me now? All right, cool. Yeah, so all right, I'm back. My sound had went out. I decided that I was going to take notes on the pros and cons when it comes to entrepreneurship. Okay. Because a lot of times we hear people tell us, get into entrepreneurship, get into entrepreneurship. And I'm all for it. Don't get me wrong. I'm not against people who are business owners. All right, or who looking to become business owner. But the thing is, for those who say become entrepreneurs, right? Do you give people the pointer and direction to go where they can be successful? Do you actually teach people the true meaning of what it means to be an entrepreneur? And do people not realize that when you get into the establishment, you're playing the game of chess? You got to play a game of chess. Okay. So let me go ahead and share the articles. So let's start with the one. If you guys can see it, if not, I'm just gonna go ahead and read it to you guys. Oh, Slutty Vegan location at Spelman College closes its doors. This decision came nearly 2 years after the location broke ground. All right, it says popular vegan restaurant Slutty Vegan is closing its location at Spelman College. The university announced. Early came nearly 2 years after the location broke ground on the campus in August of 2023. The HBCUs released a statement saying a different restaurant would replace the vegan burger joint. The statement said, in part, the college student dining advisory group has polled students regarding a dining replacement. As a result, Twisted Taco will return to campus in a new location, expecting to open on March 17th. All right. So, Slutty Vegan, an Atlanta-based restaurant chain, has gained national attention for its innovative plant-based menu and bold branding. Founded by Pinky Cole in 2018, the fast casual eatery specializes in vegan burgers, fries, and sandwiches with provocative names aiming to make plant-based eating accessible and exciting. With multiple locations across Georgia and expanding nationwide, Slutty Vegan has built a loyal following, drawing long lines and celebrity endorsement. The brand is also known for its philanthropy efforts supporting entrepreneurship, education, social justice initiatives in local communities. All right, so that's the article. Okay. All right, so well, it's showing up on here. Okay. Stop sharing. Yeah, I'm not sure why it's turning black. Is she the one with the pink sauce? That's the another lady. I'm not sure if she has the pink sauce or not. To be honest with you, don't give me the line. Cause I don't really eat at Slutty Vegan like that, but I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna share a story. But before I get to it, let's talk about what took place at the Spelman College campus. Okay. So the students were complaining about the price of the food. From what from what I was told, from what I was told, that the sandwich was $20. So the students looked at the price and they said, well, it's expensive. Should we be paying $20 for a sandwich? So I guess the students weren't going to the restaurant as much. Now, y'all gotta remember when she first started Slave Vegan, she started with a food truck. Okay. And the first location she opened was in the West End, which was on Ralph Abernathy. All right. That's where she located. That's where her first building was. That's where her first restaurant was, right there in the West End. But anyway, the students would complain about the price. So they prefer to have twisted tacos, which is not as expensive, which is very much cheaper. All right. So I'm gonna talk about what took place when I went to one of her locations. Now, I remember when Slave Vegan first opened, right? It was a long line because for one, it was in the like a little plaza area. Okay, it was on the corner, and two, it was not much space, so it was hard to get parking. Okay, but it was a long line, a very, very, very long line. Now, this location that I actually went to, right? It was my second time going. Okay, it's somewhere on the east side. All right, it's like a bar basically. So we went there one night, me and a friend of mine, and we wanted to get something to eat. Well, they wanted to get something to eat because this person is a vegan. Okay, so I said, okay, cool, whatever. And it's a nice little vibe, nice bar, got the little TV where you can watch sports and all. They got the DJ in the background. The problem was, so we ordered the food. We had to wait 20 minutes before somebody can come and serve us, right? Get our orders. Okay, so we got our water, we got all of that, whatever. We waited about a good 30 minutes, 40 minutes to get our food. Yeah, we wait a good 30 minutes to 40 minutes to get our food. So, the servers, it wasn't that many of them. It was probably like three servers, maybe two servers. And it was a lot of bartenders. I could tell you that they had like maybe three or four bartenders. Now, one of the servers, he came, he got our order, he delivered our food, whatnot, but he was all stressed out. He was just angry, upset, whatever. And I understood because I have worked in that industry, so I know how chaotic it can be, especially when it gets to that rush hour and it becomes very busy. When you have days that you're going to be real busy, you know what I'm saying? I know how it can be. And then it can be very frustrating as a customer. You sitting there waiting on your food for about 30 or 40 minutes. Yeah. So he explained to my friend that the reason why it took so long for the food to come was because they didn't have a manager. They did not have a manager to run the establishment. So this server had to play both the role as a manager and as a server. And see, that's not a good look. When you don't have somebody that manage the business, the establishment, that can make it very rough on the employees. And it's not a good look for the business. Now, I don't know how many people that she's supposed to have on staff, on board or whatnot, but in this particular instant, they had no manager. They had no manager to run the business. And that's not a good look. And see, things like this will cause people to quit their jobs, and it will cause customers not to come around. Because what if a customer have a complaint? Who are they going to go to about the complaint? Just think about it. So it seemed like the issue was they were understaffed and they needed more managers to run the facility. Okay. So my friend was very frustrated. He was going off cussing and carrying on or whatnot. And I had to tell him, like, hey man, calm down. Don't make a scene up in here. You know what I'm saying? I understand you upset because you waited a while. So we was having a conversation about Pinky Cole, and he was telling me that the West End location where that the very first building that she opened is permanently closed. So I had to look it up for myself, and I said, well, damn, it's actually closed. What's going on here? Now, this woman has $100 million. Okay, her business accumulated $100 million. Now, come to find out that she spent $10 million on corporate. $10 million on corporate. So let's go into another article that will explain what happened and why there was such a situation going on with her business. Because she ended up losing her business, meaning that she had to sell her business just to buy it back. So we're gonna look at an article on that in a moment. Okay, and somebody put, let me get this off here. Next step is contacting corporate, but it shouldn't lead to that over something the manager should handle. But here's the thing, brother, there was no manager. There was no manager in the situation. There was no manager at the location that we went. And that's not a good look. When you don't have a manager to run, you should have more than one manager. You should be able to have multiple managers, at least like two or three managers. So just in case one manager is not there, you have somebody there, or you should have at least an assistant manager that's running the business. You should have an assistant manager. Okay. Because not having a manager makes a lot of things complicated. All right, so let's go into Peking Coles. Why she lost her business, lost ownership of her business. What took place? Now the screen might go black. Okay, it might go black. Now here is from the Griot, and this article came out on April the 3rd of 2025. All right, this article came out just recently. Pinky Cole says she lost ownership of her slutty vegan business, but bought it back. Cole, an entrepreneur and recent guest on the Grids, Masters of the Game, opened up about the challenges of doing business, downsizing her operation, and regaining control with the power of lesson learned. All right. So it says Pinky Cole made a big announcement this week that initially left many of her fans worried, only for them to let out a sigh of relief with a round of applause. The 37-year-old entrepreneur posted to Instagram after a long period of silence on the platform that she gone through a series of business challenges that led to her reorganizing and relinquishing control of her slutty vegan restaurant chain. The last couple of months, it's the last couple of months is probably been the most incredibly difficult of my entrepreneurial life. Cole told her 1 million followers in a video posted to Instagram. As of February 13th, the company went through a global restructuring, right? And as a result of that, that meant that I no longer own the company. I have gone through every emotion imaginable: grief, sadness, fear, depression, and uncertainty. Right? What a lot of us entrepreneurs go through, I have gone through. But I realized that as long as I continue to stick to my faith, God will always be by my side. As hard as change is, it is necessary, but it's always for the good. Cole then told her fans to swipe to see who the new owner of Slutty Vegan was, only for it to be a video of her dressed in a staff uniform walking into the restaurant. The catchy marketing rollout was part of Cole's rebrand under what she called Slutty Vegan 2.0. All right. The restaurant boss explained in exclusive with people that while her company was valued at $100 million, she had $10 million alone in corporate overhead. Again, let me read that part. While her company was valued at $100 million, she had $10 million alone in corporate overhead. She decided to downsize the number of Slutty Vegan location, closing in places like Spelman College, and she gave up ownership of the company to a signee. All right. This positioned her to buy the company back for an undisclosed amount and start fresh. Mm. Then it goes on to say Cole also discussed recently surviving a terrifying car accident in which an object on the road, a mattress to be specific, smashed into her windshield. She took it as a sign to figuratively rest and slow down after an intense year of grinding and setbacks. While initially she feared some judgment in going public with her business ups and downs, Cole says the honesty will free future entrepreneurs, especially in the Black community, to not make the same mistakes. All right, et cetera, et cetera. And I'm just going to leave it there. Okay. All right. So again, I don't know why the screen be going black. I don't know why it does that. Don't give me a line. Yeah, I don't know why the screen do that. I don't know why. But yeah. So here's the thing. Based on what her statement was, the business itself was at $100 million. Okay. She spent 10 million in corporate. All right. So according to her statement, go down. Let me go down. She had $10 million alone in corporate overhead. Okay. So she was putting too much money into trying to start up multiple locations, but she was not able to manage them all. Okay. She was not able to make sure that she was going to be able to keep up with those businesses and establishment. And then there was rumors that at one time there was a lawsuit against her and that the employees were underpaid. So now let's get into the discussion about the pros and cons of, let me see, spend too much money on corporate and not enough on customer service managers, employee food quality. Exactly, absolutely. Absolutely. And I'm glad you brought up food quality because I'm gonna speak on that in a moment. Now, let me get into the pros and cons of this because so now I had to reflect. I had to say, well, what can I learn? What type of lessons can I learn from this woman here? What lessons can be learned? So, okay, so what lessons can be learned when it comes down to entrepreneurship? Now, here is the pros. The pros is being a business owner because you have a right to your own business, right? You running your own business, working for self. That means when you work for yourself, you in control, right? You set the rules, but you also got to follow the guidelines of the laws, with the federal law and the state laws, things like that, even the county, you know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? Then you got to go through the process of making sure that you pass the health inspection, etc., things like that. But you're working for yourself. You write your own paycheck, okay? You have a chance of being successful. You have a chance. You have investment opportunities, which means that investors might want to come in and invest into your business. All right. Especially if your business is flourishing, right? And you have a lot of clientele, investors look at that as an opportunity to want to invest into your business. Okay. So that investment opportunity is great. Then you can have the relationship of the franchise, franchisor and franchisee. Okay, the franchisor is a person that's selling a part of their business to a potential individual who wants to have some ownership, right? So the franchisee is someone that's buying part of the business. Okay, that doesn't mean they take over the whole entire thing. They just have one session of the business, if that makes sense on what I'm saying, and they able to open up their own location. Okay, so that means they can run their own location, right? Being the franchise owner of that particular location because they were able to purchase a part of the business from the franchisor. All right, so it gives that good opportunity for that if your business is really doing successful, right? And you have a franchisee, I mean that's a great opportunity right there, right? So that's the pros. Now here's the cons. One of the cons is too many setbacks. When you have too many setbacks, right? Meaning, your things are not going well for you. You're not making as much money as you thought you was, right? Or you make a mistake where, let's say, for example, you have someone, you have people that try to practice nepotism. So nepotism is basically getting a family member to run their business. But here's the problem with that. With nepotism and cronyism. Cronyism is, you know somebody personally like a friend, associate, right? You put them in a position of power just because they're somebody close to you. That's not always a great thing. You cannot always put people that you know personally because 9 times out of 10, they don't know how to run a business. And then there's a lot of setbacks taking place when it comes to that. So you will be better off getting somebody off the street, someone who has a good resume, that knows about management, that has been a director or a CEO or something, to come and manage and run your business the way it needs to be. But then the problem is people want to hire those. People want to hire those or put those in a position of power that they know personally. And that's not always a good catch. You can't always put people what you know, who you know personally, whether it be friends or family, to run your business when they have no experience at all. And one of the key factor is being able to know how to have customer service. That is the main factor, right? Selling one's business. So in Pinky's case, she had to sell her business, okay? Because again, obviously the money wasn't coming in the way that she expected. So she ended up had to sell her business until she was able to regroup and be able to buy her business back. Now she was fortunate enough to do that, because some people, when they sell their business, right, it's hard for them to buy their own business back from the individuals. Because once they sell it, it's gone and it's in the hands of somebody else. And that person who's taking ownership may not want to sell it back to them. Even if they try to come up with a reasonable price, they still may not want to sell it back. All right. Losing investors. That's the con. If you have people investing into your business and the investors feel like they're not making money off of your business because your business is not doing successful, you're going to lose investors. And then what happened when you lose investors? That means your business is not thriving enough for them. And that's where the lawsuit might come into place. You know, so losing investors, lawsuits. Oh, lawsuit is a big one. Lawsuit is a big one because under lawsuit, one of the key factor is liability. So let's just say if a customer come into your establishment and they get injured or something, right? They can end up suing you for millions of dollars. And guess what? They become the liability. So now you done lost all your assets. So that's the con, deal with lawsuits. And that's something that people will have to try to avoid as much as possible if they're running a business. Avoid lawsuits, avoid deal with liabilities. Let's see. Employees. 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 That's the main thing. You have to make sure you have a number amount of employees that are dependable and reliable to come in to work. If you don't have the employees that are dependable and reliable, your business is not going to be successful. If you are understaffed all the time, your business is not going to last very long because you don't have enough bodies. So there's reason why people could quit a job. People can quit because they feel like they're being underpaid, or mental health reason, and also management. But the main reason why people quit jobs is more so of management. Is how the business is being managed, how the business is being ran. Do you have a manager that is very tedious, that's very overwhelming? Is it too much overtime taking place? Now, don't get me wrong, overtime is cool when you make extra money, right? But at the same time, it could be overbearing. Everybody don't want to always work overtime. So if you got too many mandatories over time, that's going to cause people just want to give up their jobs and go elsewhere. And some employees may feel like they're not being appreciated for the work they giving in. Your employees are just as valuable as your customers. Remember this, because I have worked in food industry. I have worked in restaurants. Okay. I have experience working in warehouses. All right. Your employees are just as valuable as your customers. Your customer is number one, but your employees is number two as well. Your employees are just as valuable as your customers. So if you don't value your employees, if you don't show that they are appreciated and they are respected, then guess what? They're going to end up just quitting on you. So if you have too many turnover rates, right? That is not a great look for your business. If you have too many turnover rates, that is not a great look for your business. Especially if you a business that has a contract with another business, meaning that you have a management contract, right? Right. So based on the contract agreement, you got the budget. And underneath that budget, you have the amount of employees that you supposed to have on staff. Okay. So now when there's changes taking place and you don't have enough people to fulfill those obligations, it's not going to be a great look, because eventually what's going to happen is the management or that company that you have a contract with, they may cut ties with you because, for one, you don't have enough workers, and or it's to mean budget spending, you going over the budget as far as spending wise. So yeah, you got to make sure you have enough amount of people working, and you got to be able to make sure that you pay them what they're worth. You got to make sure you able to pay those employees, because if you're not able to pay your employees, the worst thing that could come is, for one, they're going to quit, or two, they're going to file a lawsuit against you. All right. Suppliers. All right. Suppliers. So in a company, you have what is called the buyer, right? So what that person does, he or she comes in and they see what type of products you need, or what type of items that is needed for a store, a restaurant, etc. So what they'll do is they'll just look at it and say, okay, da 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 da. They'll take the inventory at the end of the night. You know what I'm saying? So they'll take an inventory of how many items that you need and how much it's gonna cost to get those items into your store or restaurants. Okay. So they take it back to whoever the person is, the wherever company is the manufacturer, or whoever the supplier is. They'll take it back to them and say, okay, this is what is needed, da 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 da. And they get the price for it. Da 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 da. Now, here's the thing. When you come back, when you see how much the price is for the items or the products that is needed for that particular establishment, if the products are pretty high than usual, then what's going to happen is, if you, especially if you're running a restaurant or some type of catering business, right, you may have to go up on your price. So when you have to go up on your price, now it may cause a problem with customers, because especially if you have competitors, if you're in competition with other businesses around you, right? If the customer see that, say if you had a price for a sub sandwich. So say your sub sandwich was $10 or $15, right? But because whoever you get your supplies from, as far as like your products from, right, to make those sandwiches, to prep those sandwich, they go up on the price of those products that you need, right, for the sandwiches. So now you change your price from $15 to $20 for a sub sandwich. And the customer come in, your usual customers, they come in there, they see that the price is very done went up to $20. 9 times out of 10, they might say, I ain't even finna shop here, man. What's going on? What happened? The price was 15, now it's 20. It's too high in here. I might have to go somewhere else and get another sandwich. I can get another sandwich for about $14. That's just as good as this place over here. So now you're in serious trouble because your competitors, right? Their sandwiches cost about $15 or $14, and their sandwich qualities is a lot better. So going back to the concept about food quality, right? You looking at the quality of the food. Is it worth $20? So this is where quality versus quantity comes in. Now the quantity is $20. Let me turn this off here. I don't know what just happened. Okay. Anyways. All right, but your quantity is $20, right? But if the sandwich look like it's not worth $20, you know what I'm saying, because of the size or because of how it's being prepped or whatnot, people are not gonna want to spend that kind of money. So in order for somebody to spend something like that, the sandwich has to be worth the quality. It has to be worth the money. Or otherwise they can go to another location where they get the same exact sandwich but better quality and for a cheaper price. But you going up on your price because whoever supplies your resources, as far as like the food, your products to make those items or whatnot, or what have you, or to make the stuff that's on the menu, the recipe, etc. Now you gotta go up on your price, or otherwise, either one, two things gonna happen. Either you gonna have to find another supplier that can offer you something better, which that may be hard to do, or you're gonna have to go up to your price. And some people choose to go up on their price because they know that it's going to be pretty challenging to get rid of the supply, or you may have to change your menu. You may have to get rid of some of that product off your menu and discontinue it because of the price of how much it costs to get those particular things that you need to make the sandwich. You know what I'm saying? So we looking at supplies. So if you don't have the enough supplies, or if it costs too much money and you going up on your price, customers may not want to pay for it because they don't think that it's worth the money. Because remember, the customer are going to be the ones that make the final decision when it comes to your business. Is it worth spending money with you? Is it worth buying your products? Is it worth buying food from your restaurant, etc.? Okay. So now, if that's the case, that's not going to look big. It's not going to be looking good on your part. You're in trouble. You're in trouble because you deal with competitors, and two, you deal with expensive price. You know what I'm saying? So now you're in trouble. And let me break something down about the situation with the $20 on the sandwich. I get what the students and how they feel about the whole thing at Spelman. I understand how they feel because they feel like we're not going to be spending that much money. I get it. But from a business standpoint, if they look at it from a business standpoint, they looking at that $20 that they spend for each sandwich, right? Is going towards the business, going towards the employees, going towards the supplier or the manufacturer, whoever, right? It's going towards all these things. So it's more than just $20 of that sandwich. Is going towards the business itself. But that sandwich got to be worth the $20 value. Again, the sandwich has to be worth the $20 value. You know what I'm saying? You can't just have a sloppy ass sandwich and sell it for $20. Or you can't have a sandwich and it's not enough seasoning on there. It don't taste like it has great quality. It don't have that flavor to it. And you selling it for $20. Nah. Mm-mm. Nope. You can't do it like that. Yep. So, and last but not least, bankruptcy. Bankruptcy. If you file for bankruptcy, that means that you ain't got no money. Hold on, y'all. If you file for bankruptcy, that means you ain't got no money. That means you ain't got no money to keep your business going. That means you ain't got no money to pay your employees. You ain't got no money for yourself. You behind. And don't let it be that you owe the IRS. And don't let it be that you done lease a facility and you're not able to pay the owner who own that real estate or own that property where you leasing at. You're in trouble. And you owe the IRS, you in trouble. So now if you got filed for bankruptcy, that means your ass ain't got no money to keep your business going, to keep your establishment running. So that's the cons. So I have went over the pros and the cons. Now let me tell you the pros again. Being a business owner, working for yourself, write your own paycheck, chances of being successful, investment opportunity, franchiser and franchisee. All right, those are the pros that I written down. The cons, again, bankruptcy, employees being understaffed or underpaid, losing investors, lawsuit, selling one's business, too many setbacks, liabilities, and suppliers. Quality versus quantity. And also competition. Okay. Yeah. Competition. So those are the things that I've taken. So when I took those notes, that's what I learned from her situation, from Pinky Cole's situation of being a business owner or entrepreneur. I took notes and I pretty much picked up on these things. And these are the things that people should know and learn if they're going to become an entrepreneur. Otherwise, you can't tell everybody to quit their jobs, their 9 to 5 jobs, and become an entrepreneur. You can't tell everybody to quit their 9 to 5 jobs just to become an entrepreneur. You can't do it because everybody don't have that mental space of running a business. And everybody don't know how to play the chess game. I'm not talking about just the actual game in itself, but you got to understand it's a chess game, metaphorically speaking, that you're playing when it comes to being an entrepreneur. And then another thing you need a mentor. If you're going to run a business, you got to have a mentor. You got to have somebody who's been there, who knows the ins and outs, that can guide you, they can give you lessons, that can help you out. or otherwise your success as a business owner is going to go downhill. You got to have a mentor. You got to have somebody that's going to correct you and say, hey, you're making a mistake here. I wouldn't recommend that. I wouldn't suggest that. This is how you should do it. Maybe I would suggest you do it this way. I would suggest you do it that way. Or, get somebody that can help you to network with other people. All right. So sometimes you have to step outside the people that you know. I mean, you have to step outside your friends and your family and get involved with strangers or maybe enemies. I know, yeah, your enemies maybe. But for the most part, you're gonna have to step outside the people that you know that you're comfortable being around. Your friends and your family, you're gonna have to step outside them. Yeah, because they may be good at having a personal relationship with you, but they not good at establishing business relationship with you. Again, they may be good at developing personal relationships, but they may not always be good at establishing business relationship. And you need somebody who can establish a business relationship. So it's a dog eat dog world out here. It's a rat race out here. If you a business owner, you better understand the game of capitalism. You better read up on capitalism. Because at the end of the day, by default, you are a capitalist. By default, you are a capitalist. You capitalizing. You're making profit because you live under a capitalistic system. So you got to play the capital game. You're not a socialist. You're not a communist. You know what I'm saying? You're not living under that society or those economic systems. Your economic system that you're living under is capitalism. So you're playing by the rules, you're playing by the game. It sucks. Yeah. Which is one of the reasons why I couldn't be a business owner, because there is a lot that goes into being a business owner. You know what I'm saying? You got to have that mental space to do so. You got to have the mental space. Your mentality has to be there. And you have to slow down. You can't just be moving too fast. You got to be careful. You got to be diligent. You got to pay attention. You have to be sagacious. You have to use discernment. You got to do all of that if you're going to run a business. All right, you guys. I appreciate it. Let me see. Let me read one last comment. This brother put, this is why sending surveys for feedback to customers is important. Impression are everything. Absolutely, I agree. Impression is every single thing. Impression means a lot. Impression means a lot. All right. So if you guys want to go ahead and support my channel, I will put in my Cash App information if you guys want to support it. That's up to you. Or you can hit that little dollar sign at the bottom of the screen. Okay, hit the little super sticker, super chat, whatever. But otherwise, I will post my Cash App information for you all. All right. So if you want to go ahead and give me some type of support or something, that'd be cool. I appreciate it. All right, but until next time, I will keep you guys posted. I will make sure I come up with other topics, other subject matters. Thank you for tuning in, watching. Shout out to the chat, peace and power and elevation be to all of you. And the next time if I read an article or whatnot, I'm going to make sure that I don't post it, because I don't know why the screen is going black over here. So, but you guys take it easy. Peace. Thank you.